Thousands of aviators have lost their lives because of split-second errors, yet a handful of airplanes were specifically engineered to protect their pilots during exactly those frightening moments. These remarkable aircraft combine clever design with outstanding stability, transforming situations that could have ended in tragedy into routine, survivable landings. Today, you are about to explore 10 airplanes that have earned legendary reputations for safety, durability, and forgiving flight characteristics. We begin with an aircraft that completely challenged one of the oldest traditions in pilot training. Climb into the cockpit of the Ercoupe 415C and you will immediately notice something unusual because there are no rudder pedals beneath your feet. Introduced during the 1940s, this innovative airplane was created in response to the United States government and OPPO's determination to reduce the alarming number of deadly stall and spin accidents that occurred when frightened pilots pulled the control wheel too aggressively, watched one wing stall first, and entered an unrecoverable spin toward the ground. Aviation engineer Fred Weick, a former National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics researcher whose work later influenced the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, tackled this problem with an entirely different approach. He mechanically connected the rudder and ailerons to the control wheel so that every turn automatically remained coordinated, allowing the pilot to steer much like driving an automobile. Another groundbreaking feature was the restricted elevator movement, which physically prevented the nose from being raised beyond a safe angle regardless of how firmly the pilot pulled. Instead of entering a conventional stall, the airplane simply settled into a controlled descent, earning its place as the first aircraft officially certified as characteristically incapable of spinning. Its greatest advantage becomes even clearer when compared with its contemporary competitor, the Luscombe 8A. That aircraft unfortunately became associated with numerous accidents, largely because its conventional tail wheel configuration demanded precise rudder control throughout every landing rollout, where even a light crosswind could trigger a ground loop, damage the propeller, scrape a wingtip, or even overturn the airplane. The Ercoupe solved that problem through its advanced tricycle landing gear with trailing link suspension, which absorbs side loads effectively while naturally guiding the airplane back into alignment with the runway, giving pilots far greater confidence in difficult conditions. Everything about the aircraft was designed to forgive common mistakes, making it an outstanding trainer as well as an enjoyable personal airplane. Its uncomplicated systems and dependable Continental engine help keep operating expenses low while maintaining excellent reliability. The simplified two-control arrangement minimizes coordination mistakes, and its light, responsive controls make flying comfortable without becoming intimidating. Owners also appreciate the panoramic visibility provided by the bubble canopy, its easy taxi characteristics, and its reputation for bringing pilots home safely even after less than perfect landings. Like every vintage airplane, however, careful attention must be paid to aging fabric surfaces and older structural components, since neglect can increase long-term ownership expenses. The combination of interconnected flight controls and built-in stall protection remains the defining innovation of the Ercoupe, solving one of aviation and OPPO's greatest historical hazards with technology that still feels surprisingly modern. Well-preserved Ercoupe 415C aircraft currently change hands for roughly $25,000 to $30,000, making them one of the least expensive opportunities to own an important piece of aviation history while enjoying genuine safety benefits. What do you get when experienced flight instructors, after watching far too many young pilots lose their lives, are given the opportunity to create a trainer from the ground up? The answer is an airplane that refuses to hide the consequences of poor technique while teaching pilots to master the fundamentals from day one. That philosophy gave birth to the Piper PA-38 Tomahawk. During the late 1970s, many flight schools believed their existing trainers were so forgiving that students never developed proper spin recovery skills because the airplanes often recovered with very little pilot input. Piper responded by introducing a wing influenced by National Aeronautics and Space Administration research, one that required accurate and deliberate rudder control during spin recovery, exactly as instructors had requested. With its low wing configuration and distinctive T-tail, the Tomahawk soon developed a reputation for being more demanding during stalls and spins than the Cessna 152. Although that reputation earned it a few colorful nicknames around local airports, it also produced pilots with stronger stick and rudder abilities and a deeper respect for aerodynamic limits. One of its biggest advantages is the surprisingly roomy cockpit, offering generous shoulder space that taller pilots especially appreciate after flying in more cramped two-seat trainers. A large bubble canopy surrounds the cabin with excellent visibility in almost every direction, improving traffic awareness during busy training operations. Its wide-track landing gear provides reassuring stability in crosswinds, while the dependable Lycoming engine stands up well to years of repetitive training use without driving maintenance costs through the roof. Rather than protecting students from every mistake, the Tomahawk was designed to expose bad habits in a controlled environment, helping develop disciplined, capable aviators instead of pilots who simply rely on forgiving airplanes. On Today and Oppo's used market, well-maintained examples generally sell for approximately $35,000 to $55,000 depending on engine hours and overall condition, making them one of the strongest values among vintage training aircraft, particularly when compared with similarly equipped Cessna models that often command higher prices. Its sporty appearance, responsive handling, and straightforward flight characteristics reward precision while reminding careless pilots that good technique matters. Owners frequently praise the spacious cabin, outstanding visibility, and balanced controls, which become enjoyable once the airplane and Oppo's personality is understood. Since only about 2,500 were produced, the Tomahawk also offers the appeal of owning a relatively uncommon aircraft without sacrificing practicality or affordability. In many cases, the safest airplane is not the one that constantly rescues you from your mistakes, but the one that teaches you the skills to avoid making those mistakes altogether, and the Tomahawk remains an excellent example of that philosophy. Tracking down one of these uncommon aircraft today feels a bit like uncovering a hidden treasure, which brings us to the Beechcraft Skipper Model 77. Although relatively rare, this trainer demonstrates how Beechcraft packed premium craftsmanship into an affordable airplane built to withstand decades of use. Created as a side-by-side, low-wing trainer with excellent outside visibility, the Skipper distinguished itself because Beechcraft refused to compromise structural quality simply to reduce manufacturing costs. Instead of relying on lighter construction methods used by many competitors, the company installed a large tubular aluminum extrusion as the primary wing spar, producing remarkable torsional strength and giving the wings an exceptionally solid feel in flight. Combined with advanced metal bonding techniques and torque tube flight controls instead of traditional cable systems, the airplane delivers crisp, direct control responses with virtually no slack, creating a flying experience that feels more refined than most basic trainers. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration-inspired GA-W1 airfoil offers forgiving stall behavior while still being fully approved for spin training, allowing instructors to teach essential recovery techniques in a predictable environment. Pilots also appreciate the generous cabin dimensions and expansive bubble canopy, which provide outstanding visibility and improve situational awareness, whether flying training patterns or enjoying a leisurely weekend trip. Its wide landing gear handles crosswinds confidently and absorbs firm arrivals with ease, while the reliable Lycoming 0235 engine keeps maintenance uncomplicated and operating expenses manageable. Well-cared-for Skippers generally sell between $60,000 and $90,000 depending on airframe time, avionics, and upgrades, representing excellent value for buyers who want Beechcraft quality without paying premium prices. Although it is not built for speed and its useful load limits heavy baggage, those compromises are easy to accept considering its durability, pleasant handling, and proven service record spanning nearly 50 years. Many owners remain devoted to the Skipper because it blends innovative engineering, including its T-tail and exceptionally robust construction, with everyday practicality, making it an outstanding choice for anyone seeking a dependable trainer or enjoyable personal airplane that continues to perform impressively today. Only a limited number of Skippers were ever produced, yet millions of pilots began their aviation journey in a much more familiar airplane. For countless Americans, their first solo flight took place inside the compact aluminum cabin of the Cessna 150, with nervous hands gripping the control wheel and the unmistakable scent of aviation gasoline filling the cockpit. Often called the classroom of the skies, the Cessna 150 has introduced generations of pilots to aviation through its uncomplicated design, dependable manners, and remarkable ability to forgive beginner mistakes while still teaching solid flying skills. One of its greatest strengths lies in the thoughtful engineering found in early and mid-production models, particularly the large mechanical barn door flaps that extend to an impressive 40 degrees. Pilots continue to admire these flaps because they function almost like enormous air brakes, allowing steep approaches into confined landing areas or helping recover from an approach that begins too high without building excessive airspeed. Should the engine fail, deploying full flaps allows the airplane to approach the runway at very low speeds, reducing impact energy and improving survivability as the aluminum structure deforms in a controlled manner around the cabin instead of failing abruptly. Those same flaps also help student pilots lose altitude efficiently when approaching too high, making slips and accurate landings far easier than in trainers with less aerodynamic drag. The high wing layout contributes excellent visibility and natural stability, creating a calm and predictable flying experience that inspires confidence in beginners. Powered by a reliable Continental engine that typically burns only about 5 gallons of fuel each hour, the Cessna 150 remains one of the most economical airplanes to own and operate, allowing both flight schools and private pilots to spend more time in the air without overwhelming operating expenses. Mechanics appreciate its straightforward systems, wide parts availability, and durable airframe, which explains why so many examples continue flying after decades of intensive instructional use. Naturally, it has limitations. Cabin space is tight, cruise performance is modest, and it was never intended to be a high-speed traveling machine. Even so, those compromises are exactly what have made it such an affordable and dependable trainer. Good used examples commonly sell for around $40,000, providing one of the least expensive paths into aircraft ownership without sacrificing reliability. Its forgiving handling, abundant replacement parts, and low maintenance costs have secured the Cessna 150 a permanent place as one of aviation and Oppo's greatest training aircraft, proving that disciplined flying and sound engineering matter far more than impressive performance figures. Progress in aviation does not always come from inventing something completely new. Sometimes the biggest leap forward comes from refining a design that was already excellent and eliminating the one weakness that had been responsible for far too many accidents. During the late 1970s, the Cessna 150 had already become the standard training airplane across countless flight schools, but one persistent issue continued to threaten pilots. On damp mornings, ice could develop inside the carburetor, causing unexpected engine power loss during the most critical moments of flight. That challenge led directly to the arrival of the Cessna 152, an aircraft that built on its predecessor while introducing practical improvements that transformed it into one of the safest and most economical trainers ever produced without pushing ownership costs beyond the reach of students or flight schools. By replacing the earlier engine with a 110 horsepower Lycoming power plant, Cessna significantly reduced the likelihood of induction icing, giving both instructors and student pilots much greater confidence, especially during cool, humid morning training sessions when carburetor heat had previously demanded constant attention. Another carefully considered improvement came in the flap system. Maximum flap deflection was reduced from 40 degrees to 30 degrees, a change that appeared modest on paper but dramatically improved climb performance during a go-around, even if an inexperienced pilot forgot to retract the flaps immediately. That engineering decision has contributed to preventing countless runway excursion incidents while providing a valuable safety margin during busy traffic pattern operations. Beyond the upgraded engine and revised flap design, the 152 also benefits from gentle aerodynamic stability. The slight wing dihedral naturally encourages the aircraft to return toward level flight when the controls are released, giving overwhelmed students valuable seconds to regain composure while the airplane helps stabilize itself. Another reason this aircraft continues to enjoy such widespread respect is its ability to combine low operating costs with dependable performance. Fuel consumption remains modest, cruise efficiency is respectable, and its uncomplicated systems allow mechanics almost anywhere to service the airplane quickly, reducing maintenance expenses and minimizing downtime. The result is a dependable trainer with smooth, predictable handling that develops solid flying habits without masking pilot mistakes, allowing confidence and experience to grow naturally over time. Although the cockpit feels smaller than many four-seat airplanes and taller pilots may notice the limited space, that lightweight and efficient design remains one of the biggest reasons ownership and operating expenses stay so affordable, making it an outstanding platform for building flight hours or enjoying relaxed weekend trips. On the current used market, well-maintained examples generally sell between approximately $40,000 and $80,000 depending on total airframe time, overall condition, and installed avionics, making the aircraft one of the most economical paths into aircraft ownership even by modern standards. Long before digital displays and sophisticated autopilot systems became common, flying depended entirely on a pilot and oppos's connection with the aircraft, the sound of the engine, and the feel of the air moving across the wings. Few airplanes represent that timeless experience better than the next legendary machine. Any discussion of exceptionally durable aircraft would feel incomplete without the Piper J3 Cub, the unmistakable yellow classic that has demonstrated for generations that advanced electronics are not necessary to build an airplane that is both dependable and remarkably safe. Its greatest strength comes from elegant simplicity and aerodynamic honesty. Because it flies at very low speeds with forgiving handling qualities, situations that might become serious in faster aircraft often remain manageable, allowing less experienced pilots extra time to react and recover. The Cub features lightweight construction with fabric-covered wings that deliver excellent low-speed capability, allowing operations from small grass strips and rough backcountry fields where many larger airplanes simply cannot perform. Since the aircraft stalls at such a low speed, the amount of energy involved during an off-airport landing remains relatively small, meaning an imperfect touchdown often results in little more than a gentle arrival instead of catastrophic structural damage. Beneath its simple appearance is a remarkably strong welded chromoly steel tube fuselage that functions as a protective cage, flexing under impact loads while helping shield those inside, a quality that many all-metal airplanes still struggle to equal. Another fascinating aspect of its design is the tandem seating arrangement, where the pilot normally occupies the rear seat. That configuration is more than a nostalgic tradition because, during a frontal collision, the engine, firewall, fuel tank, and forward fuselage provide a substantial crush zone ahead of the pilot, improving occupant protection. Mechanical simplicity continues throughout the airplane. There are no electrical systems, starter motors, electric fuel pumps, or batteries to create additional failure points. Instead, the engine is started by hand swinging the wooden propeller, while gravity delivers fuel directly to the dependable 65-horsepower Continental engine, creating an exceptionally straightforward and reliable system. That uncomplicated engineering is a major reason the Cub has earned such an outstanding reputation for dependability, while also teaching pilots essential stick and rudder techniques along with proper energy management that develops strong flying skills for a lifetime. Ownership also brings several practical advantages. Maintenance costs remain relatively low, fuel consumption is minimal, visibility becomes outstanding when the doors are open, and slow flights across the countryside provide an unmatched sense of freedom. Naturally, there are compromises as well. Cruise speeds remain modest, useful load is limited when carrying 2 occupants, and coordinated rudder work is necessary because careless handling during stalls can still create challenges. For pilots who frequently travel across the wide, open American Midwest, where relentless crosswinds can quickly transform an ordinary flight into a demanding experience, a basic trainer often reaches its limits once the weather becomes challenging. If entry-level trainers are the economy cars of aviation, then this low-wing workhorse represents the classic American muscle car, with its confident stance close to the pavement and a dependable 180-horsepower Lycoming engine that delivers strong performance through simple proven engineering. Meet the Piper PA 28-180 Cherokee, an airplane that has earned lasting respect because it never disguises its strengths or weaknesses. Instead, it communicates clearly with the pilot, allowing confidence and skill to grow naturally over years of flying. Much of its forgiving reputation comes from the famous rectangular Hershey bar wing, whose predictable aerodynamics allow the airplane to settle straight ahead during a stall instead of dropping a wing unexpectedly. That calm behavior makes it especially reassuring during long cross-country flights and family travel where stability matters most. Pilots also appreciate the generous warning before a stall develops, along with the composed handling that remains steady even when turbulence begins to build. Beneath the aircraft's sturdy main landing gear equipped with durable oleo-pneumatic shock absorbers absorbs firm arrivals with remarkable effectiveness, reducing rebound and helping prevent the chain of events that can follow a bounced landing. Another practical feature is the large manual flap lever mounted between the seats. Similar to the handbrake in a classic automobile, it gives the pilot direct physical feedback while eliminating the need for electric motors or circuit breakers that could introduce unnecessary failure points. One reason the Cherokee continues to attract owners is the impressive balance between capability and affordability. It provides practical four-seat transportation without demanding an excessive budget, and well-maintained used examples generally sell between $65,000 and $95,000 depending on equipment condition and modernization. The low-wing configuration provides excellent outward visibility together with reassuring stability in rough air, while the uncomplicated systems reduce maintenance concerns and improve reliability during extended trips. Owners praise the spacious cabin, comfortable cruising performance, and mechanical simplicity that experienced technicians know inside and out. Naturally, there are compromises, including a glide ratio that is shorter than more streamlined aircraft and additional drag from the honest Hershey bar wing, but those characteristics are intentional because predictable handling always comes before outright speed. Strong construction allows the Cherokee to withstand years of everyday service, and the powerful Lycoming engine provides enough performance to carry 4 occupants comfortably even on warm afternoons without feeling strained. In the end, this airplane delivers dependable transportation and genuine peace of mind for pilots seeking a trustworthy cross-country companion, proving that proven engineering often provides greater confidence than the latest high technology. Eventually, many pilots need an aircraft capable of lifting the entire family together with full fuel while comfortably crossing high mountain terrain, and this next airplane fills that role better than almost anything in its class. The Cessna 182 Skylane has long been regarded as the sport utility vehicle of general aviation because it combines impressive strength, versatility, and reliability into one remarkably capable 4-seat platform. One of its greatest advantages comes from its substantial size and weight. That extra mass allows the airplane to slice through powerful thermal turbulence that would toss lighter aircraft around, while the Skylane continues tracking steadily ahead with remarkable composure. The flight controls feel solid and deliberate, encouraging pilots to trim carefully throughout every stage of flight, while naturally discouraging abrupt overcorrections that have contributed to many accidents in lighter airplanes. High-density altitude remains one of the greatest challenges for smaller piston aircraft because thin summer air reduces engine performance and climb capability, especially at mountain airports. The Skylane answers that challenge with the impressive torque produced by its 6-cylinder Lycoming engine, giving it the strength to climb confidently even from short backcountry strips while carrying a full load. Supporting that performance is exceptionally rugged landing gear built around thick tubular steel components that easily tolerate rough field operations and repeated use where more delicate airplanes may suffer damage. Another reason pilots continue choosing the Skylane is its generous, useful load, which allows passengers' baggage and fuel to be carried without difficult compromises. The familiar high wing arrangement provides excellent visibility together with natural pendulum stability, while the constant speed propeller and durable airframe deliver dependable performance across everything from family vacations to demanding backcountry adventures. Advantages include an outstanding safety reputation earned through predictable handling, a strong impact-absorbing structure, excellent parts support, and widespread mechanic experience that keeps long-term ownership relatively straightforward. The trade-offs include higher fuel consumption, operating expenses, and somewhat heavier control forces than lighter trainers, which newer pilots may notice during their first flights. Even so, every part of the design reflects decades of careful refinement, with robust engineering and efficient power delivery combining to create an airplane that remains honest, reassuring, and free from unpleasant surprises. On the current used market, well-maintained Skylanes generally range from about $80,000 for older examples to well above $500,000 for newer aircraft equipped with advanced avionics. That price range reflects an airplane that consistently retains its value while delivering a combination of capability, safety, and everyday practicality that very few other single-engine piston aircraft are able to match. Modern aviation safety has evolved far beyond the era when aluminum airframes dominated the skies. While riveted metal construction served pilots well for generations, advances in engineering introduced an entirely different approach, and one aircraft has repeatedly demonstrated just how effective that evolution can be. Among modern light airplanes, the Diamond DA-40 has earned an outstanding reputation for crash protection while delivering impressive performance at the same time. This elegant four-seat aircraft combines sleek styling with engineering that places occupant survival at the center of its design philosophy, making it one of the most respected choices in general aviation today. At the heart of its safety concept is a rigid carbon fiber protective cabin that surrounds the occupants much like the survival cell of a professional race car. The seats and restraint systems are specifically designed to absorb significant impact loads, allowing the cockpit to remain intact during accidents that could severely deform a conventional aluminum structure. Numerous pilots have survived serious crashes because of this advanced construction, and the risk of post-impact fire is also greatly reduced since the fuel tanks are securely positioned between robust carbon fiber wing spars, where they are far less likely to rupture during survivable accidents. The aerodynamic design contributes just as much to safety as the structure itself. Its long, slender wings incorporate carefully engineered washout that naturally encourages the nose to lower before the wings reach a complete stall, reducing the chance of an unrecoverable loss of control and giving pilots, especially newer ones, additional time to react. The composite airframe offers several practical benefits beyond crashworthiness, including excellent structural stiffness, outstanding resistance to long-term fatigue, and superb visibility through its expansive wraparound canopy, helping pilots detect surrounding traffic more easily and lowering the risk of mid-air conflicts. Owners also appreciate the remarkable efficiency of the aircraft, particularly the DA-40NG variant, whose jet fuel engine consumes considerably less fuel than traditional avgas-powered alternatives, lowering operating expenses on longer journeys while offering environmental advantages. In flight, the airplane feels both precise and forgiving, maintaining excellent composure in turbulent air, while the advanced glass cockpit and integrated avionics significantly reduce pilot workload during both instruction and cross-country travel. Whether serving as a training platform, a family touring airplane, or a leaseback aircraft, the DA-40 continues to impress because of its dependable operation and economical ownership. Naturally, no aircraft is perfect. The purchase price remains higher than many legacy trainers, and specialized composite repairs can occasionally cost more than work on conventional aluminum airplanes. Even so, the value becomes clear when examining the current market, where well-maintained used examples commonly sell between $300,000 and $500,000, while newer aircraft equipped with premium avionics frequently command $600,000 to $700,000 depending on configuration. At the very top of the list stands an airplane that has shaped generations of pilots and established itself as the benchmark for general aviation around the world. The Cessna 172 Skyhawk has earned that status through decades of proven reliability and exceptionally forgiving handling, making it equally reassuring for a student completing a first solo flight or an experienced aviator taking loved ones on a weekend adventure. Since entering production in 1956, more than 44,000 examples have been built, making it the most widely produced airplane ever created, and throughout its long history, it has maintained a fatal accident rate that remains below the overall general aviation average. That impressive record explains why so many pilots continue placing enormous trust in this legendary aircraft. One of its greatest strengths comes from the classic high wing arrangement, which naturally creates excellent lateral stability through a pendulum effect. If a distracted pilot briefly releases the controls, the airplane has a strong tendency to settle back into straight and level flight, providing valuable time to regain focus. The rugged spring steel landing gear has no complicated moving mechanisms and has proven capable of absorbing countless hard student landings as well as operations from rough airstrips without requiring elaborate maintenance. Fuel delivery is equally straightforward because the tanks are mounted above the engine, allowing gravity to feed fuel without depending on electric pumps during routine operations. Eliminating that extra system removes another potential point of failure when pilots need reliability the most. Perhaps the Skyhawk and Oppo's greatest advantage is its remarkable predictability. Every characteristic of its flight behavior has been studied, refined, and understood over many decades, leaving very few surprises for pilots to encounter. Its straightforward design combines excellent forward visibility with dependable tricycle landing gear that simplifies taxiing, takeoffs, and landings for beginners. During slow flight and approach, the airplane gives generous warning before a stall, typically settling into a gentle forward mush instead of dropping a wing aggressively, allowing plenty of opportunity for a smooth recovery. Owners consistently praise its forgiving nature, affordable maintenance, widespread availability of replacement parts, and economical operating costs, all of which explain why it remains one of the most popular airplanes among both flight schools and private operators. Admittedly, it is not the quickest airplane in the sky, and those accustomed to sophisticated high-performance aircraft may find its systems relatively basic. However, that very simplicity is the foundation of its enduring dependability and outstanding safety record. Brand new Skyhawks currently sell for approximately $450,000 to $550,000 depending on the avionics installed, while carefully maintained used examples from various production years are generally available between $60,000 and $300,000. That broad pricing range continues to make aircraft ownership attainable for many aspiring pilots without giving up the legendary reputation for safety that has defined the Skyhawk for generations. If this video gave you a new appreciation for how thoughtful engineering can improve aviation safety, be sure to leave a like because it truly helps the channel grow. Share your opinion in the comments and tell everyone which of these 10 airplanes you would most enjoy flying. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you do so and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another aviation video. Feel free to send this video to another pilot or aviation enthusiast and stay with us because even more exciting content is coming soon. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.